The queen who dared to rule the world. The true story of Cleopatra. Hello, friend. Welcome back. Imagine this. It is over 2,000 years ago. The sun sets over the great city of Alexandria. Palm trees line wide streets. Ships from Rome, Greece, and India fill the harbor. In a palace of marble and gold, a young woman stands on a balcony. She wears a crown shaped like a cobra. Her eyes are sharp. Her mind is sharper. Her name? Cleopatra. You've heard her name before. Maybe in movies. Maybe in books. They say she was beautiful, dangerous, a seductress. But the truth? She was far more than that. Cleopatra was a genius, a leader, a mother, a fighter. She spoke 9 languages. She ruled one of the richest kingdoms on earth. And she dared to stand against the greatest empire the world had ever seen, Rome. As you listen, notice the new words. Listen to how the story flows. This story helps you improve your English and understand courage. Let's go back to Egypt, to power, to love, and to loss. This is the true story of Cleopatra. Chapter 1. Early Life. The Princess in the Shadow of Power. Picture this moment. It is 69 BCE. In the royal palace of Alexandria, a city built by Alexander the Great, a baby girl is born. Her name? Cleopatra VII Philopator. She is not the first Cleopatra, but she will be the last. Her family? The Ptolemies, Greek rulers who took Egypt after Alexander died. They did not speak Egyptian. They married their brothers and sisters to keep power pure. They fought each other for the throne. Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy XII, was weak. He paid Rome huge amounts of gold just to stay king. The people hated him. When he died, he left a will. Let my daughter Cleopatra and my son Ptolemy III rule together. Cleopatra was only 18 years old. Her brother? Just 10 years old. But in their world, they were expected to marry. Yes, brother and sister. It was tradition. Still, Cleopatra was different. While others in her family only spoke Greek, she learned Egyptian, the language of the people. She also spoke Latin, Hebrew, Arabic, Ethiopian, and more. 9 languages in total. She studied philosophy, math, astronomy, and politics. She read the works of Plato and Aristotle. She watched how Rome grew stronger every year. She knew Egypt was rich, but weak. Rome was hungry for land, for gold, for power. And soon, Rome would come knocking. But Cleopatra had a dream, not just to rule Egypt, but to make it great again. Like in the days of the pharaohs. Think about this. A young woman in a man's world with no army of her own, dreaming of saving her country. That takes more than beauty. That takes brilliance. Chapter 2. First Struggles. Alone in the Desert. Now imagine this. Cleopatra becomes queen at 18. Her little brother is king, but really she rules. She puts only her name on coins. She signs laws alone. She speaks to the people in their own language. The priests love her. The farmers cheer for her. But powerful men in the palace? They hate her. They whisper, she is too strong, too smart, too Egyptian. One man leads them, Pothinus, the royal advisor. He wants a weak king he can control. So he turns Ptolemy XIII against his sister. At only 21, Cleopatra is forced out of Alexandria. She flees into the desert, alone. With only a few loyal guards. No palace, no throne, no army. But she does not cry. She plans. She travels to Syria. She gathers soldiers. She writes letters to foreign kings. She knows one thing. If she does nothing, she will die. Her brother's men will kill her. So she prepares for war. Meanwhile, in Rome, a storm is coming. 2 powerful Romans, Julius Caesar and Pompey, are fighting a civil war. Pompey runs to Egypt for help, but Pothinus betrays him. He cuts off Pompey's head and sends it to Caesar as a gift. Big mistake. Caesar arrives in Alexandria. He is angry. He wanted to judge Pompey himself. Now, Caesar stays in Egypt. He says, "I will decide who rules here." Cleopatra sees her chance. But how can she meet Caesar? Her enemies guard every gate, so she does something bold. She wraps herself in a carpet, or some say, a laundry sack. Her servant carries her into Caesar's palace and unrolls her at his feet. Picture that moment. Caesar, the most powerful man in the world, looks down and sees a young queen with fire in her eyes. He is stunned. Not by her beauty, but by her courage. They talk all night. Politics, philosophy, war, and a plan is born. Chapter 3. Turning Point. Love, War, and a Son. Think about this. Cleopatra is back in power. With Caesar's help, she defeats her brother's army. Ptolemy XII drowns in the Nile during battle. Now, Cleopatra rules alone, but she is not foolish. She knows Egypt needs Rome's friendship, so she and Caesar grow close. In 47 BCE, she gives birth to a son. She names him Caesarion, Little Caesar. Caesar is proud. He brings Cleopatra to Rome. She lives in his villa outside the city. Romans are shocked. A foreign queen in Rome? But Caesar protects her. For 2 years, Cleopatra watches Rome. She learns its secrets. She meets senators. She studies its armies. She knows Rome is dangerous, but also full of opportunity. Then, tragedy. On March 15th, 44 BCE, Caesar is stabbed to death in the Senate by his own friends. Cleopatra is terrified. Her protector is gone. Her son's future is in danger. She leaves Rome that night, sails back to Egypt. Now, she must protect her kingdom alone. But Rome is not done with her. After Caesar's death, 3 men take power: Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, Lepidus, and Mark Antony, a wild, brave general who loves wine, war, and women. Antony calls Cleopatra to meet him in Tarsus, in modern Turkey. He wants money for his wars. Most queens would send gold and stay home. Not Cleopatra. She sails up the river in a golden barge. Purple sails, silver oars. She dresses as Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Perfume fills the air. Music plays. Antony is amazed. They become lovers, but also partners. Together, they dream of a new empire, East and West united, Egypt and Rome as equals. Cleopatra gives Antony money, ships, food. He gives her land, parts of Syria, Cyprus, even Jerusalem. They have 3 children together. She raises them in Alexandria, teaches them languages, history, duty. For a few years, peace. But in Rome, Octavian watches. And he is jealous. He tells the Roman people, Antony is under Cleopatra's spell. She wants to rule Rome from Egypt. The truth? Cleopatra only wanted to protect Egypt. But Octavian needed an enemy, and so war begins. Chapter 4. Success, Power, Achievements. The Last Pharaoh. Picture this moment. It is 31 BCE. The sea is calm near Actium, Greece. 2 giant fleets face each other. On one side, Octavian, young, cold, clever. On the other, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, with 500 ships, Egyptian gold, and hope. This is the final battle. For days, the ships circle. Then, fighting begins. But something strange happens. In the middle of battle, Cleopatra's ships turn and sail away. Why? We don't know for sure. Maybe she saw they would lose. Maybe she wanted to save Egypt's navy. Antony follows her, leaving his men behind. Octavian wins. Now he marches on Egypt. Cleopatra tries everything. She offers to give up her crown. She offers to rule only as Queen of Egypt, not an empire. She even sends letters to Octavian. "Let my children live." He says nothing. In 30 BCE, Roman soldiers enter Alexandria. Antony hears a false rumor. Cleopatra is dead. Heartbroken, he falls on his sword. But Cleopatra is alive. She begs Octavian, "Let me live. Let my children rule after me." He refuses. He plans to take her to Rome as a prisoner, to parade her in chains during his victory celebration. Cleopatra knows what that means. Shame, death, humiliation. She will not allow it, so she makes one last choice. Chapter 5. Fall, Legacy/Lesson. Death of a Queen, Birth of a Legend. Think about this. Cleopatra is 39 years old. She has ruled for 21 years. She has loved, lost, fought, led. Now she sits in her tomb, surrounded by her treasures. Her ladies-in-waiting weep. She writes a final letter. She bathes. She puts on her royal robes. Then she dies. How? The story says, an asp, a small venomous snake, was brought to her in a basket of figs. She lets it bite her arm. Some say it was poison in a needle. But the snake story lives. Her 2 handmaidens die with her. When Octavian finds her, she is lying on a golden couch, crown on her head, peace on her face. He is angry, but also sad. He wanted to show her to Rome. Now he cannot. But he honors her wish. Her son, Caesarion, he is killed. But her children with Antony. He sends them to Rome to be raised by his sister. Egypt becomes a Roman province. The age of pharaohs ends. Cleopatra is the last. But her legacy? It grows. Roman writers call her dangerous. Shakespeare writes a play about her. Hollywood makes movies. Yet, the real Cleopatra was not just a lover. She was a leader. She kept Egypt free for 20 extra years. She fed her people during famine. She rebuilt temples. She gave women a voice in a man's world. And she chose death over slavery. That is not weakness. That is dignity. Now, let's talk to you. Maybe you feel like the world doesn't see your strength. Maybe people judge you by your looks, your accent, your past. But remember, Cleopatra. She used her mind when others used swords. She spoke up when silence was safer. She loved deeply, even when it hurt. And she never forgot who she was, Queen of Egypt. You too have a crown, not made of gold, but of your choices, your courage, your dreams. Wear it proudly. Friend, thank you for walking through history with me. Cleopatra's life was dramatic. But her message is simple. Never let fear silence your voice. As you practice your English, remember, every word you learn is power. Every story you hear builds your mind. If you enjoyed this journey, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs strength today. And subscribe for more true stories that teach English and inspire your soul. Now, we want to hear from you. Who should our next story be about? Helen Keller? Nelson Mandela? Marie Curie? Harriet Tubman? Or someone else? Leave a comment below with your suggestion. Your idea might be our next video. Until next time, speak boldly, lead kindly, and never forget, You are more powerful than you know. Goodbye, and may your story be remembered.